Hi, I'm Heather Schrag, and I'm joined with Jordan Boehler from the Institute for the Relief of Suffering. Hi, Jordan.
Hello. Hey.
Hey, I'd love to hear more about the Institute for the Relief of Suffering. What can you tell me?
Yeah. We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization. We started in the Bay Area in California. We incorporated September 6th of this year of 2022. So very, very recently. Um, our mission overall is to relieve suffering. The way that we are looking to do that is by raising awareness about suffering, what it is, the things that contribute to it, the things that cause it, raising awareness about ways that you can resolve or address suffering and help relieve it, different treatments, different ways of looking at it, different practices, different religious perspectives, hopefully bringing all this together for the education and training of the general public. And we also provide training for licensed mental health practitioners around the world to be able to more effectively, from our perspective, address and resolve that suffering worldwide.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. First question I'm wondering about is how do you define suffering?
Yeah. What does suffering mean, right? Some people mean like pain and that kind of stuff, and that seems a little bit more objective or outside of us. The way that we define suffering at the Institute is suffering is the chronic resistance to what was, what is, or what will be.
Mm.
um, which means that you can have and experience pain
Mhm.
or struggle or any variety of sensation and emotion, both with suffering, which is a resistance to it, which from our perspective makes it worse. Or you can also be experiencing that pain or that issue without corresponding suffering, which provides a very, very different experience.
Mhm. Wow, it's true. I think we've all felt some kind of suffering in any of those areas. Um,
Yeah.
well, why are you doing this?
uh, to be honest with you, it started because I really enjoyed supervising clinicians getting their hours,
Mm.
for licensure. So I work with people once a week through different companies, helping them become better therapists. And I was really enjoying that work and wanted to find ways to do more of it.
Mhm.
But in the mental health field, you get one-on-one supervision on a weekly basis up until licensure.
Mhm.
And then that relationship, which is really, really vital to growing as a therapist, disappears.
It's
And
gone.
you're right, like you're left with like kind of online courses if you want to get training, or you could go to some large kind of group training institute. You could get certified in EMDR or whatever, it's all like large group, disconnected, you know, 20 hours in a workshop over a weekend, no follow up.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other therapists I was talking to were coming back from these trainings and feeling like they had a bunch of tools that they couldn't use because it wasn't really connected to what it was that they were doing. So I decided to start this, and I was thinking, why would anyone come to see just Jordan, right? They'd come to an institute, right? And so that's where the idea was born out of. And from that, from a desire to make it also really public facing, I realized that there is this gap, this vacancy for a hub, a space, a center, a central station for information geared around this, whether it's, educational videos or courses or, caretaker coaching services, links to books that are helpful to read and different topics. There's all of this is spread out all over the internet. But there isn't really something that brings it all together in a way that I think is helpful, useful, and easy to use. And so that's what we're in the process of building right now.
Wow, it's like you're addressing two major voids, the ability to
Yeah,
help other practitioners continue helping the public, and the public being able to get the help they need.
Right, right. It's providing right, both indirect and direct kind of assistance, and we're not trying to push therapy on anyone. We're not trying to push medication on anyone. We're not trying to push religion on anyone, spirituality on anyone. But we do want to make available things that are otherwise difficult to find and integrate unless you're trained and educated and desire to do specifically that, which is, I guess, what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, I understand this could be a really big question, but I'm curious. How do you relieve suffering?
So that so I part of my for-profit business is to provide direct therapy for individuals and couples. So I'm working with people to shift the way their minds are processing information so that the resistance stuff stops.
Mm-hmm.
And so to free them from suffering in that way, whether it's around a particular thing that's bothering them or that happened, or like kind of a larger general issue. I like to clear that up pretty quickly. I also then, as I said before, supervise other clinicians and help them grow to be able to do that. So I'm doing that indirect work. And then when it comes to myself, I practice what I preach. The reason why I know this stuff works and I know what it means to be free of suffering is because I am. And I know what that means. I know how to get there, and I want to get as many people there as I can.
That's so powerful. So for our viewers and listeners who may be wanting to know, like, sign me up, how do I get involved? How do I get into the Institute for the Relief of Suffering?
Yeah. So right now, we're in the process of developing that hub website. There's some resources up there right now. The website itself, www.thegoodirs.org. Kind of a spoof. In fact, our newsletter up there is called The Monthly Audit.
I love it. I love it.
Right. We're here to audit suffering, not your taxes. So definitely checking out the website. Donating to our cause. Right now, donations are going into startup costs, web design, building up this content, really having the room and resources to be able to do it. Quite specifically, if we can put together a decent enough solid hub website, we get access to some grants from Google and potentially from YouTube, which get us access to studio resources, so that we can really up our game and get more and more of this content out, and also start hiring people to provide these services for other clinicians and for caretakers and for foster parents. Yeah, we're blowing up. We already have the manual out there for both couples counseling. If you're a couples counselor, it's great to use for couples counseling. If you are a couple, right, that's just looking to improve your communication and have a more solid relationship, it works for that. I think it's also a really cute wedding gift or engagement gift, right? You're giving someone the manual on how to have a healthy relationship. We're also just about to be publishing what is a guide for clinicians who want to put together a course for foster parents that are helping with child trafficking. So it's a dissertation that's being donated to us to be able to put out there for clinicians to use if they want to adapt that for a group, and we might even start providing it as a group. We'll certainly be turning it into a course for foster parents as well. We got the podcast going. I'm making a lot more educational content videos, and there's a lot more coming out there. And my favorite new addition is the Ask an Expert feature. Where you can either call or text or email in questions you might have, mental health, suffering, really anything. And we'll provide the answer to the best of our ability. It's me answering them, basically. And then, once a month, we pick someone and post their answers up. We have someone up there for September and for October. That's really like, you have a random question and don't want to pay somebody. Hit us up.
Yeah, and everyone else who can visit the site would actually benefit from perhaps that very same question being asked. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
I think the questions up there, one is about someone with borderline personality disorder and kind of changing perspective, and the other is a question about, what's the best advice for an entrepreneur that's just starting out. So yeah, I'm hoping to keep the advice up there diverse, but certainly still connected to our goal of relieving suffering.
Yeah, wow. Well, it sounds like you've really, really got it covered, but there's so many ways to get involved at this very grassroots level. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want people to submit things that they think are interesting about it, that they think are relevant. I want articles, I want videos, I want this to be a communal effort. I have friends helping out that are writing articles, and I have people doing podcast stuff and people doing interviews with other people. I want to be able to collect the best of the best, and I have some of that, but I certainly need help from everybody else to help build it into to really its full potential.
Wonderful. Well, I'm excited. I'm invested in my own ways of thinking I could use this. So I'm sure a lot of other people are. What would you recommend they do right away if they want to get more involvement?
Check out www.thegoodirs.org, and check out some of the content that's already up there. You could send us an email, operations@thegoodirs.org, or call us at 925-264-9739. It's a direct line to me, and I'll talk to you about anything at all in terms of getting involved. At some point soon, though, I think part of getting involved will be looking at people that are looking to give back, and to share what they've learned, whether in course format or individual consultation format or coaching format. But we're looking to make these services both accessible in terms of being online,
Mhm.
and high quality if possible, but also low cost if not free.
Excellent. Wow. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to add that I haven't asked?
No, it's really been a pleasure. Thank you so much for
Likewise.
connecting today, and yeah, this is great.
Well, I look forward to hearing more from the Institute for the Relief of Suffering. I know
Thanks,
we
Heather.
will. You're welcome. Thanks,
Not a
Jordan.
problem. See you later.
Bye bye.